Think about it. I really blame you motherfucking weak ass hoes for letting these niggas motherfucking think they can play with real bitches. Y'all hoes gonna sit and wait on the nigga to feed y'all. Y'all gonna sit and wait on the nigga to do everything for y'all. Y'all not gonna go get up and get it. So when they come around the real bitch that do everything on their own, they feel like they can take your power away. Bitch, you can't take no power from a bitch that built herself.
Thank you for staying up late with us. I'm Corley Peel, in for Bill Barajas. Brazoria County authorities say 31-year-old Oninda Romelus shot her 4 children.
They say a mother's instinct is to protect. But for Oninda Romelus, protection meant annihilation. On a quiet Saturday morning in October, in Brazoria County, Texas, the 911 dispatcher got a call. It was Romelus. She was parked at a gas station, and inside her car, 4 children were shot. 2 were already gone. Here's the thing. When deputies arrived, Romelus denied calling emergency services at all. Instead, she claimed, with a flat, hollow certainty, that she had actually called the devil. You see her, a seemingly normal mother in Porter, Texas, just 60 miles from that desolate gas station. But that wasn't the life she was actually living. Have you ever felt like you were just one slip-up away from losing everything you'd built? Romelus was living a lie so vast, so meticulous, that its collapse didn't just ruin her. It demanded blood. At 2:39 a.m., surveillance video caught her car leaving her home. 2 hours. 60 miles. That was the timeline of terror. What happened on that 2-hour, pre-dawn drive from Porter to Angleton? What final, terrifying realization pushed a mother to decide that killing her own children was the only way to save them from herself? The real tragedy in this case isn't just the crime. It's the hidden warning signs everyone missed. If you're watching this, you're already seeking the truth, trying to spot the unseen threats in your own world. Don't risk missing the lessons these stories scream out. Hit that subscribe button right now. It might sound dramatic, but knowing these patterns could be the only protection you ever get. We need to see what happened inside that car. We need to know what she was running from. Welcome to Unseen True Crime Stories, where the darkest secrets and untold cases come to light. Consider subscribing and tapping the notification bell. That way, you won't miss our next true crime story. To the outside world, Oninda Romelus was 31, a resident of Porter, Texas, one of those quiet, family-focused suburbs where everyone tries to keep up appearances. Her home life, her neighbors, her routine, it all blended in. When you look at her public record, there's almost nothing there. No long employment history, no active social media presence, very little paper trail. Think about that for a second. In modern America, can you really be that invisible? She was a ghost, and she crafted that invisibility for a reason. Why would a mother with 4 children need to be so intentionally hard to find? In the years leading up to the disaster, there was only one public record that offered a glimpse behind the curtain. A 2022 conviction in Fayette County, Georgia, for driving under the influence of drugs. A DUI. A mistake. Does a single drug-related conviction 3 years prior tell us who a person truly is? Or is it a chilling premonition of impaired judgment to come? Texas Child Protective Services confirmed they had 0 history with her. No red flags, no calls, nothing. But in the background, out of sight of the CPS, the schools, and the neighbors, Romelus was cultivating something that dwarfed a simple DUI. She was maintaining a secret life that was destined to collide violently with her life as a mother. This was not just a woman who made mistakes. This was a woman who was actively, ruthlessly deceiving everyone. Ask yourself, how well do you truly know the person who lives next door? The one you exchange pleasantries with every morning? Because while Romelus was seemingly focused on carpools and grocery lists, she was using her suburban fortress for something entirely different. The investigators would soon find out. The house in Porter wasn't a home. It was a high-production factory. And the goods being manufactured were not products, they were new identities. And that discovery changes everything we thought we knew about that night.
Brazoria County authorities say 31-year-old Oninda Romelus shot her 4 children in her white sedan before pulling over to a gas station on Highway 288 in Angleton. 2 of the kids are dead and 2 others are recovering tonight.
She called the devil instead of 911. That's what investigators say. And by the time police arrived, 2 of her children were already gone. A 4-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl were killed. The other 2, aged 8 and 9, survived.
The initial investigation was focused on the gas station, a horrific crime of passion, perhaps fueled by drugs or a broken relationship. But when detectives got the warrant for Oninda's home in Porter, the case exploded. Inside what looked like a home office, they didn't find family photos or bills. They found a sophisticated criminal operation. They found dozens of stolen credit cards, Social Security cards, and legitimate US Treasury checks. This wasn't petty theft. This was high-volume fraud. And the tools confirmed it. Multiple computers, high-quality printers, laminators, and stacks of shipping labels. That quiet suburban house was an active, constantly running manufacturing hub. She wasn't just buying stolen data. She was producing the evidence of her victims' stolen lives right there, under the same roof as her 4 children. The most disturbing evidence seized were the counterfeit identification cards. Many of them bore Oninda's own photograph, but were printed with entirely different names, birth dates, and states. She was her own master of disguise, creating a team of fake identities, or mules, all played by her. This wasn't a sudden breakdown. This was a calculated deception that had been running for who knows how long. And that's the moment the motive snaps into place. The pressure from maintaining this massive fraud, the fear that the IRS or federal authorities were about to kick down her door, that was the trigger. Oninda's high-stakes criminal life was about to be exposed, and with it, she'd lose her kids to the state and her freedom forever. The sheer scale of this secret life, the meticulous detail of the fraud, makes you wonder what else you're missing in the people closest to you. The truth is, these stories hold vital lessons about hidden vulnerabilities, but many people still scroll past without hitting subscribe. They think, it won't happen to me. If you're watching this right now and you still haven't subscribed, tell me. Why are you risking it? Go down to the comments and give me a real reason you'd rather not have these cautionary tales in your feed. Are you that confident you can spot the warning signs yourself? Because Oninda's victims, the people whose identities she stole, definitely weren't. Go on. Tell me why you're taking that chance. The fraud was the fuse. But the final act of violence only happened when she got into that car. The clock is counting down.
It's another emotional post. But little did anyone know, those words would echo like a prophecy. A message that hinted at the storm quietly building inside her long before the world saw it unfold. According to court documents, she told investigators she believed her children were with the devil and that she feared they might kill her first. She reportedly said, "Instead of them doing it to me, I'm going to do it to them." Here's the sheriff's report on this case.
Yesterday, Brazoria County deputies responded to an unthinkable, unimaginable tragedy. This event has shaken our community, and we are all feeling the loss. While this remains an active investigation, I do want to share what details with you that I can at this point. Evidence indicates that the driver of the vehicle identifies as a 31-year-old Oninda Romelus. She's the mother of the 4 children involved. All 4 children have sustained gunshot wounds. Sadly, a 13-year-old boy and a 3-year-old girl did not survive. We are thankful to report that an 8-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl are now in stable condition. We believe that the evidence shows that this tragedy has occurred inside of the vehicle and that Romelus, the mother of the children, is the shooter. At 4:48 a.m. yesterday, Romelus called the Brazoria County Sheriff's Office. When deputies arrived, they immediately began providing lifesaver measures. to each children until medical help could arrive. The two surviving children were life flighted into a Houston area hospital where they remain in stable condition. Romelus was later arrested and charged with 2 counts of murder and 2 counts of aggravated assault with a deadly weapon, with a total bond set at $14 million. Romelus is a current resident of the Montgomery County here in Texas, where Sheriff Wesley Doolittle is the sheriff there of Montgomery County, and he is here with us today. His office has assisted us with investigative tasks that have taken place there in Montgomery County. Our investigators, along with responding agencies, continue to collect and analyze evidence in this case in this ongoing investigation. I also want to thank the people of Brazoria County and our surrounding communities. The prayers, the messages and support shown for these children, and also for the first responders involved in this, mean more to us than what words can express. It is impossible to make sense of a senseless tragedy like this, but we will do everything we can to seek justice for these children. I will now open this up for a few questions. However, before I do want to be clear that there are still many details that cannot be released at this point, okay?
We have the before the quiet house hiding the massive identity theft operation, and we have the after the bodies discovered at the Angleton gas station. But the real horror is in the middle, the 2 hours between 2:39 a.m., when Oninda's car left Porter, and the 911 call that ended it all. This wasn't a short trip. It was 60 miles, driven in the dead of night, with all 4 children ages 3, 4 an older child, and a 13-year-old in the vehicle. Was she fleeing a raid? Had a deal gone bad? When, exactly, in those 120 minutes of darkness, did the gun come out? Imagine the pressure building on her. The years of deception, the constant fear of exposure, the knowledge that if she was caught for the fraud, she'd lose her children forever. In her mind, warped by fear and perhaps impairment, this exposure became the ultimate threat. Her motive, later chillingly described to investigators, wasn't simple rage. It was a twisted, preemptive act of control. She claimed, "Instead of them doing it to me, I'm going to do it to them, kill them all." To Oninda, letting the system take her children was worse than death. The same organizational skill she used to run a fraud ring was now focused on the total destruction of her own family. The physical evidence from the home told a story of financial crime. But the truth about her mind, the moment of pure, raw collapse, might be trapped forever inside her vehicle. Investigators seized Oninda's Tesla. The key evidence wasn't the gun, it was the onboard surveillance system. That hard drive could contain the time-stamped audio and video of the final 2 hours. It could map the progression of her mental state, minute by agonizing minute. The final secret's exactly what was said, what the children saw, the sound of their mother finally breaking, are sitting on a piece of digital hardware. The entire case hinges on what the Tesla recorded. When deputies found Oninda at the Angleton gas station, the scene was catastrophic. 2 children dead, 2 critically wounded. But it was Oninda's demeanor that was arguably more disturbing. When questioned, she didn't show remorse or shock. She was detached, claiming her children were with the devil and confirming to the officers, they're dead. Then came the complete detachment from reality. She didn't call 911, she insisted. She called the devil. And amidst that horrifying confession, she offered investigators a final, cryptic statement they couldn't place. She repeatedly said she was ready to work. Did she mean her identity theft operation? Or was she ready to fulfill some terrifying, delusional contract? The line blurs between calculated criminal and severely broken mind. The immediate legal response was a staggering $14 million bond. Why so high? Because the discovery of dozens of fake IDs proved she was an extreme flight risk. She had the tools to vanish and become someone else overnight. This case is now a showdown between defenses: insanity versus calculated malice. Can a person who was meticulously running a high-stakes fraud operation or rational, organized crime simultaneously claim they were so mentally broken that they didn't know the murders were wrong? The U.S. justice system has to draw a line. But the question remains, how does any court of law judge a mother who chooses annihilation over accountability? This whole tragedy is a flashing signal. The immense pressure of living a hidden life will find a way out, and it's almost always destructive. You might think your secrets, your compromises, are small, but they can build into something lethal. If this story doesn't make you stop and look closer at your own life, I don't know what will. These aren't just true crime stories for entertainment. They are blueprints for avoiding disaster. If you still haven't subscribed, you are actively choosing to ignore a library of cautionary tales that could help you spot a fatal warning sign one day, perhaps in your own orbit. You can scroll away, but you can't say you haven't been warned.
Oninda Romelus worked as a tax preparer, helping people manage and file their returns. But outside of work, she loved to show off her success online. Friends say she enjoyed dressing up, taking pictures, and flexing her lifestyle on social media. She often shared bold opinions about men, too, claiming she didn't need one to survive, that she could handle life and money on her own.
Now that I think about it, I really blame you motherfucking weak ass hoes for letting these niggas motherfucking think they can play with real bitches. Y'all hoes gonna sit and wait on the nigga to feed y'all. Y'all gonna sit and wait on the nigga to do everything for y'all. Y'all not gonna go get up and get it. So when they come around the real bitch that do everything on their own.
Well, it is a quiet scene out here in this Porter community now, but neighbors I spoke to tell me it was a much different scene on Saturday morning, with investigators collecting evidence from this house believed to be where 31-year-old Oninda Romelus was living with her 4 kids.
She had a beautiful smile like her dad.
James Chappelle lives in Atlanta, Georgia, and tells me 2 of the kids found shot inside a car in Angleton on Saturday are his grandchildren. One of them is 3-year-old Amari Chappelle, who lost her life. What was your reaction when you heard about her death?
I started crying immediately. That's my grandbaby.
Chappelle tells me an 8-year-old boy is also his grandchild. That boy is in the hospital.
This event has shaken our community.
Brazoria County Sheriff Bo Stallman held a press conference on Sunday afternoon telling reporters the suspect that left 3-year-old Amari and a 13-year-old boy dead, as well as an 8-year-old boy and a 9-year-old girl injured, is the kid's mother, 31-year-old Oninda Romelus. She's now being charged with murder and aggravated assault.
We believe that the evidence shows that this tragedy has occurred inside of the vehicle.
Sheriff Stallman says Romelus called the sheriff's office for help just after 4:30 Saturday morning. Deputies arrived to a Shell gas station on Highway 288 in Angleton, where Romelus had pulled over in her white sedan. If you happen to know exactly the location where the shooting took place?
Again, that is part of the ongoing investigation.
Chappelle tells me he's in shock, and Romelus seemed like a good mother.
I didn't see anything wrong with her personality. She seemed like a beautiful person.
He says Romelus is from Haiti and lived in Georgia before moving to Texas about 5 months ago. Chappelle is now holding on to memories of a 3-year-old girl gone too soon.
She always smiled.
Romelus is currently being held in Brazoria County Jail on a $14 million bond.
The case of Oninda Romelus is not a story of random violence. It is a forensic analysis of a disaster triggered by deceit. The quiet mother from Porter was an organized criminal whose sophisticated financial fraud enterprise pushed her to the edge. Her mental collapse wasn't sudden. It was a slow-motion implosion, guaranteed the moment she decided to live a life built on stolen identities. She chose the most horrifying, irreversible form of control: annihilation. She murdered 2 of her children and critically wounded 2 others rather than face the consequences of her crimes, the loss of her freedom and the loss of her family to the state. Oninda chose to destroy her world before the authorities could expose her hidden empire. We can track the fraud. We can track the car. But we may never truly know the moment her mind shattered. What were the last moments like for those children, strapped in their seats, realizing the person who was supposed to protect them was now their executioner. The greatest lesson here is that a lie always collects its payment, and the interest is always too high. The line between being a highly organized criminal and a mother experiencing total psychological collapse is the crucial point of debate in this entire case. Now, I want to hear from you. After seeing the evidence of the elaborate, organized fraud ring and the delusional confession about calling the devil, where do you stand? Was Oninda Romelus acting out of calculated malice to escape justice? Or was this a genuine, catastrophic psychotic break fueled by the pressure of her criminal life? Drop your opinion in the comments below. Let's have a serious conversation about accountability versus mental health in capital crimes like this one. If you want more high-stakes, deeply researched stories that reveal the unseen darkness in the everyday world, make sure you like this video and subscribe to the channel right now. We need to keep these lessons alive. Thank you for watching.